giving you one last chance. Yield.
The damned harlot got us into this. Kill him! Attack!
Dettlaff von the Eretein. Dettlaff is a higher vampire, better known to some under the name the Beast of Beauclair. Every higher vampire has a unique talent that the vampire specializes in over the centuries. Dettlaff's speciality is his herd instinct. This leads to him preferring not to be among humans, but to be among vampires instead, preferring the company of lesser vampires especially. Because of this, Dettlaff doesn't understand how the human world works. He doesn't know what lies are, nor does he understand that people try to use others for their own benefit. Dettlaff has very basic morals. If anyone is kind to him, he'll be kind to them. This can be seen in the events of 964, when a fiend dubbed the Brute of Lyria killed about 200 people. This is one of the oldest moments in time when we hear about Dettlaff. As Detlaff was responsible for killing the fiend, as revenge for the fiend killing a boy who gave Dettlaff an apple, without expecting anything in return for it. Not much is known about him for several hundreds of years, except that he most likely spent a lot of time in Nazir. The next thing we know about him isn't specified in which year. Only, according to deduction, is it possible to have a time frame for when it happened. This is his meeting with Renna. He met her after they were both selling items at a fence in Metina. Renna noticed that Dettlaff was holding the silver candlestick he brought with the cloth. She found this remarkable and interesting and decided to follow him into an alleyway he went into. He tried to scare her by jumping at her with his fangs out. However, she wasn't scared. Instead, they met up a few times and at some point she became his lover. The only human he was ever truly close with.
Who's Renna?
His one-time lover. The sole human woman with whom he was very close. Because she accepted him. With her aid and care, he found a place for himself in this hostile world. She began the work that I strive to continue.
This most likely has to have happened between 1258 and 1267. However, it could have taken place between 1267 and 1272. Which, if anyone is interested in, I can explain in full detail why I think it has to have happened between those years. After Renna left him, he searched for her for months. However, he couldn't find her, and eventually gave up.
I didn't know where to look.
Sometime later, during the attack on Stega Castle, Regis was defeated by Vilgefortz, who in turn was killed by Geralt.
Last I saw you,
I was a bubbling, shapeless smear, having been rather spectacularly melted into a column of a certain castle. In somewhat better shape now, as you can see.
Dettlaff found Regis' remains and nursed him back to health. However, one has to wonder, how did he find Regis and why was Dettlaff in Ebbing in the first place? A likely answer could be found in the Lady of the Lake. Because the Lords destroyed the castle to cover up the mistake they'd made, the explosion of which could be felt or heard or seen throughout half of the continent. Most likely, this explosion led to Dettlaff going there to see what had happened. He had to take care of Regis for over a year, at least before he was able to stand up again, after which Regis went back into his old home in Dillingen, in Bruges. It's not known how long ago this regenerating took place, except that he still wasn't done. Sometime later, Dettlaff received a letter from a group of people who claimed to have kidnapped Renna and forced him to go to Beauclair to kill 5 men, or they would hurt his former lover.
Dettlaff van der Eretein, you do not know us, but we know you to be a vampire. We know also of your weakness for the wench they call Renna. Now you know this. We shall chain her down and let rats feed on her. We shall flay the skin from her flesh. Yet you can save her. You need but travel to Beauclair, where you shall slay 5 men in the manner we prescribe. You must complete the killing in 3 days. Fail, and the next letter you receive will contain a memento of your failure. Your beloved's finger.
Because to Detlaff, thanks to his herd instinct, he felt as though Renna was still part of his pack, and he couldn't abandon her. He went to Beauclair, where he received the names of the men he was supposed to kill. He managed to kill the first 2 without any problem, disposing of their bodies the way the kidnappers had asked for. It was, however, only after this when the Duchess sent out 2 overnights to hire Geralt of Rivia to slay what they called the Beast of Beauclair. The 3rd victim was killed while Geralt was on his way to Toussaint. However, this murder was more difficult for Detlaff, because he became friends with the man he was supposed to kill. After the man helped him by standing up for him against another person. However, he cared more about Renna than the man, and with deep regret, he asked for forgiveness before killing his friend, cutting his own hand off out of rage.
Forgive me.
What?
His 4th victim became Milton the Peyric Perrin, who along with Palmerin the Lawnful was sent by Anna Henrietta to bring Geralt to Toussaint. Just after Detlaff had killed Milton, he and Geralt faced off against one another for the first time. Till at one point during the fight, Regis, who also just had arrived, intervened. Detlaff fled. However, Regis and Geralt tried to find him. They tried several things to find him until they learned that he used an abandoned toy store as his hideout. Regis was still determined to convince Detlaff to stop by helping him find the kidnappers. While Geralt, along with Anna Henrietta, was looking into clues about the kidnappers at Rihanna's home, they encountered Detlaff and Regis, who brought them there. He and Geralt talked about the nature and behavior of monsters before he and the Duchess started talking about Nasir. Geralt, who knew by now where Renna was, told Regis and asked him not to tell Detlaff. However, he did tell Detlaff, and halfway during the fight at Duntine Castle, they both showed up, fighting their way through the soldiers towards the tower where his lover was supposed to be.
Wasn't expecting to see you 2 here.
We thought you could use our help, so...
Witcher, this is no time to explain. Where is Renna?
Expect to answer a lot of questions inside.
Let us go then.
And here he found her. However, because of the conditions she was held in, he questions whether or not she had used him for her own gain. He left, saying she had 3 days to come to him, to Tesha Mutna, and explain herself before he would tear Beauclair to the ground.
This I promise you. You've 3 days. I shall be waiting.
Sienna, however, failed to show up, since she was held captive in the land of 1,000 fables. Detlaff, because she failed to show up, sent hordes of vampires to the city, which caused the death of many innocent citizens.
If it's war this Dettlaff wants, Its war he shall have.
It's at this point where, depending what the player chooses, his ending is determined. There were several endings for him. He could kill Syanna, because she betrayed him. He could fail to kill her, and be killed by Geralt and Regis. Or, she could not show up, and then he will be killed by Geralt and Regis anyway. In every ending he dies, except one. If he kills Syanna, and Geralt forgives him and doesn't attack him for it. If he survives, Regis will go with him to help him. If he dies, however, Regis has to flee, because of the anger of the other vampires, because he betrayed his kind. Dettlaff had one of the most interesting boss fights in the game. I'll not go in depth about how to beat him, but keep in mind to roll away about 1 second after sound drops in his bad attack.
Acknowledge any gods. Start praying now.
This video was largely inspired by the Gwent expansion, The Crimson Curse, which will be out by the time the video is uploaded. Personally, I'm looking forward to have a good look at all the new cards they add. It's always nice when they give images to link to characters from the books that never made it into the games. That was it for Dettlaff. As always, you can leave suggestions in the comments for new videos. I try to upload twice a week, however sometimes I'm more busy with other stuff, or a video takes longer to make, so then it may be one a week, but at least I try to upload a minimum of one a week. Till the next video.
I'm here.
Bye.
This belonged to you, maybe?
It did, but you may keep it. I've a new one. I do not know you. I've done you no harm.